Hey guys, Andy here. We're outside in the sunshine today because I'm looking at a new dash cam for my motorbike by Motowolf. Now, dash cams have become more and more commonplace, normally in cars, but actually they're probably even more necessary on a motorbike in some ways because that's where you're much more vulnerable, and someone doing something stupid in front of you could mean that you're going to get knocked off, and you want to be able to claim on your insurance and show that it wasn't your fault. So you may have watched a video about a year ago that I installed the Blue Sky C dual dash cam. So there's a camera at the front of the bike and a camera at the back of the bike, which is essentially what this one will do as well. So first of all, I'm going to have to remove the old system before I can install the new system. Let's get on with that. So actually, before we install, let's take a look at the box and its contents. So you get a bit of a idea from the image what you're getting inside the box. On the back it gives us the web address and the email address should you need it, and a few kind of features of the device. Let's go ahead and head into the box itself, and we'll see that everything is visible on the very top layer through a kind of a sponge cutout. You can see the camera, the camera's there with sort of lens protection. If we lift the sponge bit out, underneath you can see all the cabling and wiring and connections for the cameras, the main unit, and the locking clicky button thing. So the main unit, it does feel a little plasticky. There's a speaker there, I guess, a little plasticky, a little light, but that doesn't particularly bother me. It's not like I'm actually going to be handling it much. There are some buttons, and there's the SD card slot. At the bottom of the box is another little box. We've got two sort of metal clamps, brackets I suppose, for the cameras with sticky pads or with screws. We've got the GPS unit with kind of extension cable as well. Then we've got the power cabling. There's cabling to hardwire it directly into the battery, or there's USB cabling. We've got like a TPU rubbery cover. Instruction manual explaining what all the different buttons do, and also with an installation guide. Then there's a separate card with the installation guide as well. I mean, it's generally kind of common sense in some ways, to be honest. So let's head back outside now. I've got a memory card. It's come straight out of the old unit, and I'll try on the cover, but I did take it off again quite soon when I was basically needing to see the screen properly. Let's get the power plugged in first and just double check. I generally go step by step, bit by bit, just checking that each part works. And we can see there's no cameras plugged in, so there's no image, but you can see the power is there. Now initially I thought, I'm gonna run the cable around the side and attach the camera, because the last one I attached the rear camera to the license plate, and a lot of people got very upset. And to be fair, it's not a good place for it because there's a lot of vibration. So I wanted to mount it a bit better this time. I was able to still use it like a little rubber sort of hole that I fed the cable through underneath out the back, and attached the bike kind of onto the rear light really, but it's sort of out of the way of the rear light, hopefully not too noticeable. And there's the front camera in the same place as I had the last one. You can see the cable running through. There's a connector there. The green little connector is the camera. I've managed to feed the cable through underneath, and then it goes along side of the tank. Quite a lot of spare cabling, so I mean, no matter how big your bike is and where you mount things, you should have enough cabling. And that's everything all set up. So here's the clicky button. This is the one that you press if you wanted to save a particular bit of footage. You would press the button and it would sort of lock it away in a safe. Therefore it wouldn't write over it when it loops over. And there is extension cabling that I could run it down the right hand side and bring it out somewhere to go onto the sort of handlebars, but I didn't really think there was any particularly good place for it to go. It's not a feature I use very often. I will just get the footage off myself if I need it, so I left that bit out. Then we've got the app to install on your phones. There's QR codes in the manual. You can see there it's Motocam by Arzin Motocam Intelligent Company Limited. And basically you have to, I manually connected it to the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi provided by the box in the back of the bike there, the main unit. Then you can open up the app and it should connect through, and you can see sort of live footage from the cameras, so you can check. There's me with my tripod, so you can check it's all aligned properly. The problems I had was obviously when the bike's on its stand, it's leaning at the side anyway, so we'll see in a moment, I did actually make a bit of an error on the front camera. I didn't quite get it lined up level. This is the settings in the app, kind of everything you would expect to see, just sort of notification volume, storage levels. I would recommend format your SD card when you first put it in. I didn't realise this was out of focus, but to be honest, there isn't a lot to see in the menus on the device itself. It's easier to use the app and push the settings from there, to be honest. So I promise I didn't actually go riding like that. I wouldn't be stupid enough to go in a t-shirt and shorts. So I literally went down and back again just to sort of get a bit of footage and see how easy it was to download it from the bike onto my phone. And actually, yeah, it was very easy. You can see here it will just transfer them across if we get some focus and zoom in a little bit. There it is. So that was only sort of a very short, like I say, it was down and back, and that was 116 meg. So then I actually, got my proper gear on, honestly. And then you can see I've got a bit of a lean to the left on the camera, even when I'm upright. I didn't realise for a couple of days. Then I looked back at some footage and realised. So that I'm quite pleased with the rear camera compared to how it was previously on my last setup on the license plate. That is a much better position for it. And I think I got that one quite level. So the quality of the footage itself, I think, is quite good. It's not amazing. You're going to get better if you had like a GoPro or a really good 1080p camera. You're going to get better quality footage. But as I've said a lot of times when I'm doing dash cam reviews, I kind of think you don't need that much detail. It would be handy, I'm sure, at times if you can read registrations, and this one is not massively reliable when you freeze frame. There's sometimes I've been able to kind of work out what license plates were. But it's not super sharp, it's not super crisp. But again, I would say it's as good as, or if not slightly better than, what I had previously with my last dash cam system. So again, still quite good condition, still got a slight lean to the left, sorry. Nice bright blue sky, but it's not, I think it handles the sort of the composure of the shot quite well. The exposure level seems to, because it's quite a bright day, and a bright sky can kind of blow out the detail down below. Some funny sort of color transitions there that we see looking at the back camera, but generally I think it's a nice image. It's not something I would, if I was a vlogger, I think I would want better quality, and that's when I would be looking at perhaps something like a GoPro or the other sort of specific cameras. But we're going to switch now to a bit of low light. I think the low light, actually is really quite good. It's not completely dark at this point. You can see there the time. I think I've leveled the camera up as well, look. So the time is kind of 5 to 9. And at this point in May, clocks have changed and everything. And it's not, it wasn't super dark. You don't need, although obviously I have my headlights on, I don't need the headlights to see where I'm going, obviously, and stuff like that. It's bright enough to see what's happening, but it was still quite dark conditions for cameras to deal with, especially things like a dash cam where things are moving quite quickly. I would say generally that's not a bad image at all. So all in all, I think with the sort of app, the connectivity, I do like those aspects. That wasn't on the last setup that I had. I have something similar in my car where you can just connect a phone in and just zip the stuff off onto your phone. It is quite handy when you do need to just get something off. It might not have been particularly a serious thing. You just wanted to be able to look at something that happened. So it is quite handy when you can just literally connect with your phone and transfer it over on the Wi-Fi. The quality, as I've said, is not as good as something like if it was a GoPro or something like that. But generally, you wouldn't definitely have any issues seeing what had occurred. If there was an accident, you would be able to make out what was going on. You can have, so there's a GPS unit, you can have all that kind of information logged into the video as well, which will give you speeds and locations and the routes you went. I haven't done that aspect. For me, I'm just after the camera showing the footage. You can also, as I said, have the button which will lock and save certain clips should you need them. So I really like it. It's on Amazon. It was around £160 at the time of filming. Thank you, Motowolf, for sending me this review unit. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks very much. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon. Well done, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you might want to click the little fellow that should hopefully appear about here to subscribe. You may also want to check out some of my other videos, which are going to appear somewhere there. Also, come and have a look at my website, androidandy.uk. There is also a forum. Come and say hello on the forum if you've got any questions about things, or request me to review things, or anything else. Just come and have a chat on the forum.